going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But I think people need to really stay on this video. It's time I get a little serious here. Now, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but recently my channel has become more than just about firearms. It has included politics. Why? Because, unfortunately, firearms are involved in politics. They are a political tool and talking point. So, unfortunately, I have to stay up to date on it. But long story short, though, is this is a very serious talking point here that I need to make sure people understand. This is something that I want to be as clear as possible on. I don't want you guys thinking I'm talking to you guys like you're children. It may sound that way, but I swear that is not how I am intending it at all. I'm sure you're wondering, why are you so serious? What's with the thumbnail, the title, what's going on here? And I'm going to tell y'all. Let me just readjust this real quick. So recently, I've been seeing a lot of videos that, not even videos, just interviews, videos. I've been seeing a bunch of quotes floating around where people are referring to the Second Amendment as the right to defend themselves in a self-defense situation, not how it was originally written, but just, home defense, things like that. And while I agree wholly that the Second Amendment does include the right to protect your life and the life of people you love, there's no arguing that. I am in no way denying that that is a huge part of the Second Amendment. I'm not at all. I'm not denying that, unfortunately, and that's the thing. Let me phrase this right now. These next two things I'm about to mention are much, much smaller. Much, much smaller. All right? They have nothing to do with what the Second Amendment actually states. Okay, so let's clear this up. Unfortunately, hunting and competition shooting are a part of the Second Amendment because they use firearms. If they didn't use firearms, they wouldn't be. That's it. That's it. Now, that's not what the Second Amendment was written for, though. Have you noticed that these three things that I've listed here, they are included, in the Second Amendment as far as what the Second Amendment covers. However, that's not what the Second Amendment was written for. That's not what it says. So I want to just go into the real quick meat and bones here of what it actually is for. It is strictly to fight off a tyrannical government, foreign or domestic, either or. That's what it was solely written for. Self-defense and all these other things, eventually, look, here's the truth of the matter. If they ban, the right to self-defense, which is something they can't realistically ban, they can sit here and fucking arrest people for it, but it's not like they can do anything to stop it. People are going to defend their lives. Let's say they sit here and they're arresting people for defending their lives, right? That still doesn't change what the Second Amendment actually says. The Second Amendment was written to fight off a tyrannical government, foreign or domestic. That is solely what it was written for. Self-defense was included. Now, of course, hobbies, right? Everybody has to have a hobby, right? Some people are into guns like I am. Some people, they're really into them. Some people are saying, hey, I want to go shooting. I want to go shoot in a competition. Some people are saying, I want to go hunt. All right. That's perfectly fine because the Second Amendment allows us the right to own firearms to fight off a tyrannical government, foreign or domestic. You're allowed to do with your firearms what you'd please in those aspects. You are allowed to use them for competition shooting and hunting purposes. But that's not what the Second Amendment's for. You can do those things, but that's not what it's for. You can defend your life, but that's not what it was written for. It was written only to fight off a tyrannical government. That is it. Now, I am not hating on anybody who, uses firearms to protect their life. That's the entire opposite of what my channel is. I'm not saying that at all. But I want to clarify this. Some gun owners need to grow a pair of fucking balls. We need to flat out tell these anti-gun politicians, these anti-Second Amendment advocates, that we don't give a fuck how you feel. It's not about, the Second Amendment wasn't written so I can protect my home. It wasn't. It wasn't written so that way people can go hunting. It wasn't written so that way people can go shooting in a competition. It was written so that way if a government decides to get tyrannical and decides to fuck with the American citizens, whether it's a foreign government or a domestic government, we can defend ourselves from said tyrannical government. Excuse me. That is solely what it was made for. It wasn't made for anything else. Self-defense was added into the Second Amendment. It was expanded, actually is a better word to say. The Second Amendment rights expanded to include self-defense is a much better way of phrasing it, actually. However, that's not what it was written for. And I'm okay with that. I promise you right now, if someone breaks into my home or if someone's trying to take my life or the life of someone I love, I promise you, I'm not going for my hands. I'm going for something much worse. I'm going for my gun. I promise that. So let's get that out of the way. I am not saying that you were in the wrong if you defend your life with a gun. That's the furthest from it. All right. I'm very glad that the Second Amendment rights expanded to include self-defense. However, we need to be honest here and start explaining to people that yes, the government cannot always be trusted. They can't, whether it's a foreign government or not. Look at what is happening in Israel. Our government, no shit, sent $6 billion to Iran. And what's going on? Iran is sitting there chanting death to America. Like, okay. You're telling me right now that if Hamas, if the extremist group Hamas, things like that came over to America, you wouldn't want to be able to defend our country? You wouldn't want to be able to defend yourself? Now, granted, that isn't necessarily a government. However, it is a tyrannical organization, we can say. It is a radical organization, we can say. It's an extremist organization, we can say. However, in my opinion, these are more so synonyms than, using them as arguments against it. You know what I mean? They're more synonyms than antonyms, in my opinion. But I think this is something that needs to be pointed out. That's the Second Amendment was not written for anything else other than to fight off a foreign or domestic tyrannical government. And that's okay. That's okay, because we expanded the rights of the Second Amendment to include self-defense, which is an amazing thing. But just remember, guys, self-defense was not what it was originally written for. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Look, let's be realistic here. I highly doubt that when the Second Amendment was written, that they said, oh yeah, well, if you use your gun to defend your home, you're not following the Second Amendment. Or if you use your gun to defend your life, you're not following the Second Amendment. It's only, look, I'm not saying that, but the fact that it was officially added is, of course, always a plus. The fact that the Second Amendment rights expanded to include self-defense is always a plus. That's just not what it was written for. And we need to stop acting like it was. It wasn't written originally for self-defense. It wasn't written originally for anything other than to fight off a foreign or domestic tyrannical government. That is it. Solely it. And the more we start to be honest about it with people, the more normal it's going to become. The more understanding people are going to be. The easier it is for people to get it. And that's something that we can't overlook. We can't sit here and say, I don't want to do that because, there's no reason not to. There is zero reason to sit here and try to even remotely pander to these people and say, oh, well, what about my life? I don't care about that, bro. Because here's the truth of the matter. I'm going to die anyways. I don't want to die. I don't want to, but I'm going to anyways. That's just life. You know what I mean? But if I can die defending my country, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? If I can die defending my country from a foreign or domestic fucking tyrannical government, yeah, I'm okay with that. We have to be willing to die for these rights. We have to be willing to die for them. And the right wasn't originally to self-defense. And that's fine. But we can't pander to these people and say that it was, because it wasn't. It was not. And since it was not, us saying that it was to these anti-Second Amendment advocates, we're no better than them in a certain way, because they love to lie on us and spread, false stats when it comes to gun owners, things like that. But we're not telling them the whole truth. I don't give a shit about your feelings. I don't care about how you feel. All right. The truth of the matter is it wasn't for self-defense. It wasn't. Self-defense simply got included into it through the expansion of the Second Amendment. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. We should all be okay with that. But we need to be real here. We need to tell these people what the truth is. And we need to tell them, I don't care how you feel. That's what it is. Deal with it. Grow the fuck up. I think that about covers it for this video. But some gun owners, y'all need to grow a fucking pair of balls. Let's be real here. And not no doctor-made balls. Y'all need to grow a pair. But I think that about covers it for this video. Y'all, of course, go ahead and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, you don't even need to agree with me, honestly. I don't care whether you agree with me or not. As long as you can acknowledge that that's what the Second Amendment was originally written for, was to fight off a tyrannical government, foreign or domestic, then go ahead and check out the podcast channel. Add the channel, Centerfire Podcast, Gun Nut TV. Y'all know what the deal is. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.